This is going to be a very off the top of my cuff story here, and I'm going to have to go on with being a little bit of a butthead like everybody else has been. But I think my story has to do with food. I was just thinking back to a couple of times when I went to Mexico when I was in Scouts. I used to be in Scouts when I was a kid, when I was younger, and I was living there in Texas and so forth. So in San Antonio. So a couple of times, 2 times we went down into Mexico for their Boy Scout Jamboree down there, just over the border, about a couple of hours or so. So first time I went over there, I was like in the beginning of high school, and so we went down there, and I stayed with a family, and I was like, oh, this is nice. We went down there, they showed us around, they talked us around and showed us the area there, this place there about 3 hours just south of the border there in Texas, and they showed us a place where they got these 3 river falls and so forth. And I hung out with a family, and they'd come out there, but I was kind of picky about certain things. I was like, oh, I have to have my food, a certain way. I gotta like my food this way. I like my food, and I'm kind of picky about my vegetables and so forth. And so if they didn't get the right vegetables, I would get something else, and I would get kind of finicky about things. And it worked out. We plugged through it. We got through it. And towards the end there, I think they finally got. Well, they finally got a little bit annoyed with me a little bit, and kind of like, well, he's got a little thing here about, we'll survive him. He's a little picky about his things, and we'll kind of put him out there and let him go back up and so forth. So anyway, a couple 4 years later, do it again. So I said, I figured it's going to be the same thing as last time. Well, it turns out it's a little bit different. This time we hung out, I was like a senior in high school, and just made something made Eagle Scout and so forth, but people were like ragging on me and picking on each other. So we just stayed with a bunch of other teenagers this time, no family or anything. So we just kind of hung out, and we ended up hanging out all night long, as it turned out. But in order to get partially to get even with me from the previous time, this is what I would think later on. They gave her just like this big pepper in my face. They said, oh, okay, I've had this before, just another jalapeno pepper. Right? We used to have them in Texas all the time, growing up. So I took a big bite out of that and about burned my mouth off. And then I figured that ever since then, that was a little bit of revenge for being a finicky nutcase 4 years before.